Let's go. There's 7 up thumbs already. Good evening, everyone. How are you all? I'm going to speak in annoyingly halting speech like that. Like a little kid says sentences. Hello. Or like AI. Or like the phone menu. Hello. Press 3. How's it going, everybody? This is the live stream.
Or are we? I'm just kidding.
Or are we? Yeah. This is the live stream Q&A that we do every Thursday. Today's Thursday. On our channel. And so here we are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a bunch of questions that came in from Patreon, some questions that came in from YouTube members. Please do me a favor and go over to patreon.com/DylanTalksTone. That is one way that you can, yeah. That's one way that you can support the channel. And because Leslie always says, nobody knows where to get your pickups from. And people listen to our videos and they're always like, there's not a link down below, even though there is. We'll just put it on the screen right here. DylanTalksTone.com. That's where you go get amazing pickups like the short run clear humbuckers that are happening as we speak. I just wound a bunch of them yesterday.
Oh, gee.
Yeah, super cool. So make sure you go over there and get that stuff. Those 2 ways are probably the best ways besides sharing and liking the videos that you could support the channel. We're also going to take questions from the chat stream right over here. So put a bunch of question marks in front of questions and Leslie will try to get to them. However, we have a lot from Patreon. So if you want to jump to the top of the list like Van Shank Guitars just did, you can use a super chat.
Why is it so high? Thank you for the super chat, Van Shank Guitars. My new Mojo Tone winder showed up yesterday. That was fast, right?
Ooh, yeah, he just mentioned it the other day.
Awesome.
Yeah. Everybody's buying Mojo Tone winders right now. I hope you're using my link to get them because, well...
You have a Mojo Tone link? Or you
you can get them at StuMac. Here's the thing with that is it's not only about the affiliate dollars, because let's face it, affiliate dollars on a Mojo Tone winder is pretty sweet, I'm just going to say, because there's $500 or whatever. The real key is that when StuMac and all these places that we have affiliate links with see you clicking on them and shopping around, it tells them that you're watching the stuff because they can tell whose links they are. Mm-hmm. And they can look at our activity and be like, oh, he came out with a video and a whole bunch of people came to the website. Even if they didn't buy, they still know. And so, then they call us up and say, hey, do you want to collaborate on a video or whatever? So it's very helpful when you use those links, even if you don't buy anything. You just go and shop around because they can see that you do that. So I really appreciate that when you do that. Anyway, to get into the pile of questions here, if you want to use a super chat, we'll drop what we're doing like we did with Ivan there and answer it right away. Because we have a bunch. And then at 9 o'clock, we're going to go way off topic. And let's just say, I got 2 new knives this week. So
that's the off topic. You just told him what it was.
I'm just going to... There's lots of other off topic stuff. But just FYI. And these are bangers. Not going to lie.
All right, you ready?
Let's go.
Patrick. Good evening, Dylan and Leslie. I hope you two are doing good. Dylan, what's the difference between your 8-ball and your Super 8 pickup?
So, the 8-ball is like a center punch with a ceramic 8 magnet in it. The Super 8 is like a DAF, which is a vintage wound low output humbucker with an Alnico 8 magnet in it.
All right. Can you save me one clear to next month, May the 24th, if you can? I wanted to buy one next week, but I got a call to put my guitar together with your loaded pick guard.
All right. Yeah. No, do your thing, man. I got you. We're also going to talk about the thumbnail here. We're going to get through these questions. We're going to talk about this thumbnail because somebody asked me, this is another question that came up. Somebody asked me to comment on the Tim Shaw Anderton's video and the whole kind of... So I want to talk about that whole how pickups have changed. He said some really interesting things, and so we'll get to that.
After we take J Van B 231, thank you for the super chat.
Thank you.
What are manufacturers trying to tell us when they describe a pickup as being 50, 60, or 70 style in a single coil?
They're all different wines. It's kind of a misnomer because there's so many even within that. I personally think that most of those things are kind of just...
Do you think it's just so somebody can identify with it?
Somebody can
almost?
identify with it. Like, oh yeah, bro, I totally like 60s music, so I'm going to get the 60s one. You know what I mean? Like, oh, well, I want the 50s tone because I want the tone that such and such a rock star played who was playing a 50s telly. There's over 3,000 pickup combinations, formulas at Fender. So it's really hard to say you just got a 50s one because for 10 years there were hundreds that they used. So, but we're going to get into kind of how they did it back then and versus now and what is different and what really to look for. We'll get into that in just a few minutes. That's a great question.
Don. Happy Chinese Language Day, Leslie and Dylan.
I did not know this.
I feel like he gives us lots of fun trivia.
Does
he have like a tear-off calendar where it
With
just tells him
what is the day of the... Yeah.
I used to know all those things because
Right.
we would make random posts related to it to try to like get hashtag clicks, but it doesn't really work.
International Puppy Day or whatever. Yeah.
How does changing the Gauss level of the magnets in a pickup affect the tone of a pickup? I've read about builders degaussing magnets to try to get a more, quote, vintage tone. Awesome or meh?
Okay, so obviously the strength of the magnet is going to very much change the frequency response and the inductance of the pickup. Well, it's going to change the inductance of the pickup, which is going to change the frequency response. The reason people try to undercharge magnets is because they're trying to, in my opinion, perpetuate a myth that Alnico pickups get weaker over time. They don't really. Not to the extent that people think they do. Just use the appropriate grade of magnet to make the pickup that you want. Fully charge it and call it good. Because it's actually really hard to undercharge magnets. And you probably won't actually be able to do it very consistently.
Super chat from Trozinator. I feel like I haven't seen that name in a while.
Yeah,
Thanks
thanks,
for the super
Trozinator.
chat.
Welcome back.
Hey, Dylan and Leslie. Which of your pickups would you recommend for a good pop punk tone?
Ooh. P90, obviously. And then on the humbucker side, I would just use a DAF. Super vintage wind, super, early vintage wind, or a P90. Those would be my two choices.
Awesome.
Thank you for the super chat, sir.
James, how do you solder wires together so they don't come loose? Also, why doesn't solder stick to some pots? How do you determine the...
I think he's got a couple questions. Okay.
Right.
So, first of all, good heat. If you go to the link in the description, there is... actually, if you go to DylanTalksTone.com, on the front page, there is a how-to solder course that you can take that we go really in-depth on soldering. Basically, a good tool, a good soldering iron, good solder, and good heat transfer. For butt-ending wires, I basically pre-tin both wires and I overlap them by about 1/8 to 1/4 of an inch, and I solder them, and then I heat shrink them. The reason it doesn't stick to the back of some pots is because you don't have enough heat. You're using too cheap of a soldering iron. That is the problem. The whole thing about sanding the back of pots, and it's a whole bunch of baloney. Using flux is a bunch of baloney. Just use a good rosin core solder, 6040 Kester, for example, and a good soldering iron. Get enough heat into it, and you will be fine. Okay, number 2.
Number 2, how do you determine the neck angle to set in a guitar?
This is not my area of expertise. This would be a Texas Toast Guitars question. Simple answer. Fender guitars are going to be 0 unless you want a little bit of neck angle. Like I put 2 degrees or so into a Telecaster by putting a shim in the neck and making it feel really nice. But some guitars you have to put a neck angle in. Usually it's determined by the height of the bridge off of the surface of the guitar. That's typically what determines that.
And 3, Reverend guitar with 3 P90s or the Yamaha Revstar with 2?
Reverend all day.
Awesome. Thanks, James. Rob F. Hello, Leslie and Dylan. I saw a guitar this weekend, wish I remembered where, that had an Alnico 2 humbucker in the neck position and an Alnico 3 humbucker in the bridge position. What are your thoughts on this arrangement? Thank you.
A lot of people do it. It's a very popular, again, that's going back to trying to get like an early PAF kind of sound. Yeah, that's a very common thing. I don't do it here, but it's a common thing.
Wish I remembered where.
That's
I
funny.
can relate to that. How many times do we have conversations like, I saw something,
Oh,
I don't
man.
remember, but...
Especially as much traveling as we've done. Remember that one time we were at that place?
Even
with
online,
that thing,
like I
and
could
I'm
have
like,
looked at it today,
I
and I'm
could
like,
not
oh, I
remember.
meant to tell you, but I don't remember where I read it.
Oh,
But I read this
man.
thing.
I know. It's called information overload and trying to manage your brain. That's what it is.
Shane. Dylan, this week you mentioned that your guitar setup varies widely between guitar types. I'm a guy who tries to get the same action no matter the type being used. Could you go into detail on how and why you set up Strats, Tellys, and Les Pauls differently?
Yeah, because they have different string, depending on the string gauge that you use. I don't use the same string gauge on every guitar. I use 10s on all my electrics, I guess. So the Les Paul is lower than a Fender, Telly, or a Strat because of the architecture of the guitar. That goes back to neck angle. It also has to do with the fretboard radius because it's flatter than a Fender or a Telly. It also has to do with the shortness of the scale length, so that feels different. So I like it to be a little bit different, and I actually physically play the guitar different. I will set up the action higher or lower on a guitar based on the size of the radius of the back of the neck. If it's a really fat neck, I might want the action different than a really skinny neck. If the frets are big, I might want the action different than if the frets are small, because a lot of people do not think about this, but you have to factor the size of the fret into the size of the whole neck because the strings sit further away from the face of the fretboard. So if you have a fat neck with big frets, then all of a sudden the guitar feels completely different than a fat neck with small frets because you've literally made the guitar effectively bigger this way because the strings are where they are. So there's a lot of little factors. So I don't make everything feel exactly the same. And I also don't play every guitar exactly the same. My P90 SG Junior, that's punk rock, man. I play that guitar so hard. That guitar is for punk rock. So I play a heavy pick. I play it hard. I don't clean it when I'm done. That guitar is my beater. I play the PRS Fiore much more light touch because just the way it feels and the way I like it. So it's a totally different setup.
Super chat from Van Shank Guitars. I just remembered my real question. When I measured magnets with the Gauss meter on my new winder, I get different readings when measuring north and south.
That's interesting. Make sure your distances are equal on your magnetizer. That's what I would check. And I don't use the Gauss meter on the Mojo Tone winder. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Oh, is it maybe not accurate or?
That green one, he knows which one because I think he bought the same one I have. That green one is way better. And it has to be right on the magnet because we've talked about how much fall off there is with magnetic pull. So you have to be right on the center of the axis of the magnet, right on it to measure it accurately.
Get on it. All right.
This is fun.
where
It
I'm
feels like it's
at.
coming hard and fast tonight.
67 Goat. Do you use the stock bobbin holder on the Mojo Tone winder, or do you use the Shatton self-centering one?
I use the stock bobbin one because I never bought that other one.
So you have no opinion?
Yeah, I don't know that I... Yeah, no, I use the stock one. I like it. I like it.
Shane, good morning, Dylan, and your more charming half. Who's that? I was surprised to learn this week that Yvette Young's signature Ibanez is shipped with 11s. Does the heavier string gauge have any advantages for her math rock style since it comprises a huge amount of tapping?
That's a good question. Maybe. It could be. Because when you when you pre-tension a little bit, maybe that does kind of calm down maybe some of the noise or something that would happen when you do. I don't know. That's a good question. It's like Tim Henson using nylon strings, they're physically really fat, even though the tension is low, but it would just change how you would, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's why. That's cool. Or maybe she just likes 11s. I mean,
yeah, and then they're gonna do whatever
they're gonna
she
do whatever
prefers.
she wants
Yeah.
on her. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Might
on
be
her
thinking
signature.
way too deeply into it,
Right. Yeah, it's like John Mayer decking all the trims on a Silver Sky just because that's the way he likes it, even though it's not the right way to set up a Strat style guitar.
I don't know what I just asked that one. Okay. Vincent, Dylan, certain pickup manufacturers seem to voice their pickups by, among other things, mixing bobbins with different heights. If two humbuckers have identical specs except for the height of the bobbins, will the tone be different? Thanks.
Yep, it will. Bobbin height is a huge thing because if you put the same exact wire with the same exact number of winds on it and then make the bobbin taller, it doesn't just make it taller, it takes that same amount of winds and makes it narrower, which basically moves the entire coil further towards the center of that magnetic field, which is thereby stronger, which changes where in the coil the bulk of the inductance happens, if that makes sense. So if you have a really big coil sticking way out fat like this, and the magnet's in the middle, there's less happening electrically, more kind of dumb way to explain it. Some will get in the comments and say I'm wrong, but just trying to explain it simply. There's less happening out here at the edge than there is here in the middle. So if you make it taller and bring everything in, then it changes that for sure. It's going to give you more highs and mids. It's going to move it that direction.
Sean, I received the Thruxtons and wiring harness yesterday. Looks like Friday evening I will be working on the Reverend. I am waiting on Jersey Shore for a wiring harness for the Thruxtons. Thank you.
Awesome. Very good.
That is exciting.
Yeah, that's very cool. So I'll tell you what, why don't you catch some more questions, and I want to chat about this whole 1957 to 2023 difference in pickups, because we watched that video earlier, the Andersons one with Tim Shaw, and he was one of the things he said is that when he had an opportunity to go back and look at all of the stuff that happened at Gibson, he realized how far away they had gotten from what they were originally doing at Gibson, and he had to bring it back. But what's interesting is they never really actually went back to an actual PAF. There's a lot of reasons for that. Like you don't hear them say this is an actual PAF in whatever Les Paul. The Les Paul Standard has burst buckers in it. They're branded differently. The reason is because the materials are different. There's actual math and geometry that has gone into these new pickups. You have to remember that when people invented stuff in the 50s and 60s, a lot of these guys were just guys figuring stuff out. And so, when they went from the P90 to the PAF humbucker, they were like, well, we put 10,000 winds on this coil, so let's it's got to fit in packaging that goes from here to here and is this long. It's underneath the strings. So then let's just take that 10,000 wines, let's split it in half and go 5,000 on each and wire them in series with one another out of phase, and boom, now you have a humbucker because it'll be hum canceling. But it'll be 10,000 wines split in two, and they'll both be magnetized by here and here. The first PAF didn't even have screws. It only had slugs. And then the marketing people made them put slugs in it so people could adjust them. All those choices were not made for tone. They were made because they were solving problems and just coming up with the next thing. It became for tone as time went on. But the original thing that everybody strives for, going backwards with all this stuff and going back to the 40s and 50s and 60s for these tones, those things were they were engineered, but they were not for the same reasons that people nerd about them today. That being said, the materials are different. The reason we call Dylan Talks Tone the new vintage is because I 100% believe, and no, I don't believe it, I know it, that we can come up with very accurate tones to like a 60s PAF or a late 50s PAF with modern materials. Because the science that makes the thing work, which we know now, that they didn't necessarily know then, they were just trying stuff to make it work. The first Gibson coil winders didn't even have counters on them. So we don't even know that it was actually 5,000 winds per, and that whole 300 on one coil more than the other, that was all an accident. Like that was not on purpose. So all those things that were like, hey, let's figure out a thing and solve a problem and do the thing, and here's the prototype, and hey, it worked, and okay, so let's make more. Now, somebody like Tim Shaw, or me, or anybody who spends time doing this, has the science now in 2023 to understand that we can do the same things, and we can make those sounds without plain enamel wire that'll give you cancer, and magnets that don't come from the same place because they can't come from the same place anymore. And butyrate bobbins have nothing to do with the tone, and maple spacers have nothing to do with the tone. It's all about the dimension of the coil. It's all about the strength of the magnet and the type of magnet. It's all about the thickness of the insulation on the wire, not the type of insulation on the wire itself. It's about the thickness of the wire. It's not about the copper content of the wire. It's not about any of that new old stock garbage that, there's a couple of YouTube or a couple of pickup builders that will charge you, exorbitant amounts of money to use new old stock stuff to get that super vintage whatever. But that's not the science. The science is actually much simpler than that. And so it's easy to do that. But what's really cool is you get somebody like Tim Shaw, who has a lot of resources. He has resources I don't have, I would never work for Fender or any of those people. But the fact that he has a budget, like with Fender, where he can be like, okay, I want to make a new pickup. And like, here, just CNC me these parts. Like, I can't I want to come up with a new pickup, but I don't have the resources to I want to cut this out from scratch and do all this prototyping and whatever. I don't have those resources like he does. So it'd be really fun to have that stuff. However, one of the things he did say was there is no sense, basically. He didn't say it in these words, but he basically said there is no sense in trying to come up with a pickup that doesn't fit in a slot that already works. Because you're not going to cut. That's why pickups are what they are. You're not going to cut your Strat apart to put a wacky shaped pickup in it just because it's the new thing. You're going to use something that bolts into there that you don't have to cut, that all you just drop in, replacement part, right? And so that does limit the innovation, but at the same time, you got somebody like Tim Shaw who's doing very cool things and trying magnets and trying materials. I personally think this whole Kunafei thing is just a big marketing ploy to get that, get that feeling back in Fender, more or less. They're using it's not FOMO, whatever they call it. It's the chromium ones too. They're using those ones too, which is cool in the telly stuff. But he's doing exactly the same thing I do. He plays it. If he doesn't like it, he throws it away and he starts again. He plays it again. If he doesn't like it, he said that in the video. It's like, if I don't like it, you never hear about it. I do exactly the same thing. If I like it, then I try it. I let a couple of my friends try it. If they like it, then it becomes a thing. He's doing exactly the same thing. And he has some measuring equipment and stuff that I don't have, but it's the bottom line is we're all still doing the same thing. Some people do have more resources than others, but even the new guys do not care about the 50s. They don't. They just want to make stuff that sounds good. And they know that they can't duplicate a 1959 PAF because we don't have that stuff anymore. And it's pointless to do it when we know we have modern materials. I can make this sound like a vintage PAF and it looks totally different. I know I can. It's not that big a deal. It's not that hard. Because the science says that it's possible. Because we have all that math now. So it's an interesting thing to think about that even though it sometimes in one way it doesn't feel at all like there's any progress in pickup making and we're all just doing the same thing they were doing. But the reality is we are actually doing the same thing, but we've had to rethink everything because everything is different now. All the materials are different now. All the costs of things are different now. Availability of certain metals is different now. All those things are different. And so we're having to readapt. It's just like going from tubes to modeling stuff. The music industry is going to adapt to that over time. And pickups are going to be the same way. And I don't know where it's going to go. Are we going to go to light-based pickups? I don't know. Are we going to go to... I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go, but it's going to continue to evolve. I think it's really, really cool. And so I was really encouraged by watching that video of him today and him not being stuck. Like, he's not stuck in the everything has to be like 1959. He's like, I'm trying new stuff. And if I don't like it, I throw it away and I try another one. Like, that was really cool to see him. And he's an old man. He learned from Bill Lawrence. I mean, he's probably in his 60s, I would think, late 60s, mid 60s. He's an old dude. So, but he was really cool with wanting to try things. And it's neat that he works at Fender and he can do that. I think that's really cool. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. A little history and rant. Not necessarily a rant. I just thought it was really cool. And I wanted to share it. And somebody asked me to give me my thoughts on that video, but that's kind of how it all melds into what we do. DylanTalksTone.com. You can go to the link below. That is there.
You have some questions or thoughts or various
Yeah, let's
things
keep going.
that
Yeah,
perhaps?
let's just go. Yeah. It's awesome.
67 Goat. Just got a notification today that my P90s, Enduro, and Humbucker size P90 shipped.
They did ship.
That sounds fun.
Somebody just ordered something as I was talking about that. What did they order?
I don't know.
I believe... Would you think that that's Trozinator?
That would be my
That would
good
make
guess,
sense.
yeah.
That Trozinator just ordered, and he is from Canada, ordered a DAF humbucker. Cool.
Cool.
For his punk rock guitar that he was just talking about. Oh. Yeah, cool.
All right. Vinny's World. Thank you for the super chat.
Excellent. Sorry. I think it every time.
And I said it like that.
No lie. And you said it that way, and I just had to go there.
I think we just aged ourselves. No. I don't know what NGL means. NGL, even though bobbin material doesn't affect tone, clear bobbins rock. If it looks good, it sounds better.
Not gonna
Real
lie.
science. Oh, not gonna lie.
Thank you. Thank you, Vinny's World.
If you knew how many times I had to like ask my kids or Google what some of these like abbreviations mean, it'd be real embarrassing.
It's because we're getting older, yo.
I know.
It's okay. I like
Thanks,
using
Vinny.
them. I like using them inappropriately around the kids, like in the wrong context, and then they're like, "What are you saying?" I'm like, "I just think it's funny."
No. All right. What else we got? Joe Hervey 84. Does Dylan make active pickups?
Nope.
That was easy.
You can add preamps to our bass pickups, though.
Paris Thalheimer. I own a set of the Dylan Talks Tone P90s.
Thanks, dude.
Awesome. Martian Murray. What pots do I use if I put those humbuckers in my Jaguar?
500s.
We'll wait for that one. BC Rich 581. 3,000 combinations? Weird. You wouldn't think that it would be possible to wrap wire in that many different configurations and magnets.
So, I'll just give you. You know how this works, like, right? If you have a combination of two things, you can do two things. If you have a combination of three things, you can do, 9 things or whatever. So, like, multiplies, right? So, let me just give you a small snippet of what could be available. There are about 5 different coil wires available. There are 2 different diameters of magnet. We're just talking single coils. There are all different, infinite number of different heights. So if you make a Strat pickup 10 thousandths shorter, a 10 thousandths taller, that changes the thing. You could do that without making the magnet longer or shorter. So then you could change the length of the magnet and make the bobbin a little bit taller. You could make it a little bit fatter. You could make it a little bit thinner. You could use a different stagger. You could use flat top magnets. You could use beveled magnets. You could use, you see different strengths of magnets. Alnico 2, 3, 5, 8. So then it becomes all of a sudden just into crazy numbers. Like once you really start to realize how many things you can change about just a Strat pickup, and then go Jazzmaster, Jaguar, all of the pickups, and then you have that whole book of Fender. It could very quickly become 3,000. It's really cool to think about. I want to see that book one day.
You probably won't.
I think I probably have a way.
Rusty Shackelford. Does polarity of pickups matter when you do special switching like adding neck and bridge pickups together? I assume it won't hum cancel, but no other problems?
No, you can make 2 single coils hum cancel. We wire all of our single coils in reverse wound, reverse polarity. It does matter. We have a couple of videos on how to check that. Most of the time you can just flip a wire if it's wrong. Flip the wires if it's wrong.
James Howell. Have you ever tried any of the 6-way toggle switch or 10-way blade switch by Freeway Audio?
I have. I think you get above 5 or 6 and it's 5. I think 5 and a push-pull on a Strat is enough. I'm not a bajillion feature guy on a guitar. Some people really like them. I think they're kind of a pain to work with, and you get a 10-way switch going with a single hum, and your guitar quickly looks like an exploded bowl of spaghetti inside, and it's just kind of not my thing.
Tom 67. Dylan. Gibson 57 Classics or Duncan 59s?
Dylan DAFs over both of those. 57 Classic.
Steve Rezer. Dylan, I'm thinking about shimming my telly neck before cutting the nut so the bridge barrel screws don't stick up as high. Any recommendations?
Yes, 1 layer of cereal box or Coca-Cola box, like, you know, that thickness. 1 layer in a strip behind the 2 back screws. Put that sucker in there. Don't over tighten it. Just in the back 2 screws. It will not ski jump. It won't do all those stupid things people say it will do. And it will be amazing. And it will bring it up exactly the right amount that you say. I love doing that on a telly. If that's not enough, use 2 layers of Coke cereal box or Coke or cereal box, and it will work perfect. And your girl will be like, "Why are all these notches cut out of the top of my cereal boxes?"
Oh my gosh. When you were building guitars, it was ridiculous. Like no box in the pantry closed because you stole flaps off of everything.
That's totally true.
Yes. Yes.
That's totally true.
Wild.
Yep. It's totally true. It works perfect.
James Howell. For coil splitting, should the pickup cover ground wire be grounded separate from the pickup ground wires?
Yes. So when we do that, we use a 4-way wire with a separate drain line. So the little braided wire gets soldered to the chassis, comes out the other end and gets soldered to the back of a pot, but it's separate from the ground wire. So you have, you know, red, white, green, black, and a separate drain wire, and that's how we do our humbuckers for that purpose. Yep.
Hawkman Hawk says, how many guitars have I routed the hole bigger for fluence? LOL.
Yeah. Yep.
Because you were talking about they don't adjust, but
Yep.
people do. And then Vox Guitars Rock responded. He said, I routed my telly for a neck humbucker. Man, oh man, does basswood stink when you work it.
Oh, basswood, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You have to say bass. It's a music thing. I mean, is that what it sounds like when it falls?
Yeah. Is that what a basswood tree sounds like when it falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it? Yeah.
Do you feel better now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Or is it like the fretless in jazz music? You know, because they do that little flick at the beginning. Anyway.
Are you done now?
Yeah.
Eric Lettinger. Dylan, if you were going to rewind a vintage pickup, do you use new wire or try to use the old stuff?
I have in the past, I might still have some. I do, when I was doing rewind, I don't do rewinds anymore, but when I did stock a small roll of plain enamel and a small roll of heavy form var for that purpose. That being said, the heavy form var and the plain enamel that you can get today are not the same that you could get back then. If I want to do a vintage looking pickup, we have wire for that too. It's in the material that I use on everything else, which is nylon poly, but it's in purple so that it looks like plain enamel wire. So we can still achieve the look, but if I'm doing an actual vintage pickup, I will try to use the modern version of the vintage wire that is still not exactly the same as what it was back then. Because I don't want cancer.
Super chat from Keith H. Thank you for the super chat. How you feel about your humbuckers size P90 in a semi-hollow body?
That might be the most popular thing people do with it, to tell you the truth. It works awesome. It gives you like a Duesenberg vibe. Yeah, I would do it.
Awesome.
Thank you for the super chat.
All right. Rusty. Dylan, check out Ricky Lee, a London-based Malaysian guitarist and a big F1 fan. She is amazing.
I will.
Windsurf Maui, thanks for the review of Shaw. I didn't like the Cunife. What did we decide?
Cunife, yep. That's how
Pickup
he says it.
tones. Did you hear anything interesting in the Cunife tone?
So, I'm going to be honest with you. I fast forwarded through all that. I just listened to what he said. I listened to a few minutes of it. I mean, I listened to enough of it to kind of do the same thing you did. And then I just fast forwarded through it all. I am not a fan of the tones that they were getting. I felt that those guitars sounded very weak and did not hit the amp hard enough. They sounded very thin. That being said, I don't know if it's what they were using it or how they were recording it or what they were doing, but Andertons is usually pretty good about that stuff. And it was Pete. It was Danish Pete. He's one of the best guitar players on the internet. So I don't know if it was the pickups, but I have to kind of think so, that I was not a fan.
Ryan Scallon, Cunife. Is it different enough to buy, or is there a lot of crossover?
It's different. It's weaker. Big time weaker. That's why they have to make the coils bigger. That's why they have those weird surrounds on them. And that's why wide range humbuckers were bigger than regular humbuckers, because the magnets are weaker, so you have to make up for it with coil dimension to get the same inductance.
Wayne Hussey said, "Is this the Andertons video? Pete was playing lazy that day."
I mean, but he's amazing. Like, I can give him credit for who he, no, I thought he was, it was good.
Super chat from Paul McNary. Thank you for the super chat. He said, sarcasm alert. It's good to know. Thanks for telling me that I'm old. Probably when
You're
you were
older than
talking
me.
about Tim Shaw.
Yeah.
You're
still
only
cool,
as
Paul.
old as you feel.
You're still cool, Paul.
And some days I feel real old.
Right? Thank you for the super chat.
Robinson's Custom. So it's either because math or because science or just because. All evolves eventually. Mm-hmm. Someone may create a new shaped pickup that's killer and a routing template to go with it to ease change.
It's true. It could happen. I wouldn't bet on it.
Van Shank Guitars. Someone contacted me the other day asking me if I could rewind his jazz bass EMG pickup. He said only 2 strings are making sound. Any guess?
No, I don't know why that would be, because it's a bar magnet in there. And you cannot rewind that because it's like embedded in epoxy, and the pickup won't come apart. So I don't know.
BC Rich 581. So is exponential based on wiring, magnets, height, and 7 or 8 other variables. Those numbers do get high pretty quickly, yes.
It's crazy, right, to think about that? Because you wouldn't think about that. When you look at a Strat pickup, and there's what? Magnets, flat work, hookup wire, eyelets, a cover, and coil wire. There's 6 parts in there. And then it just explodes, yeah.
Fox Guitars Rock said, I saw a kid in Niagara Falls yesterday. He was wearing a t-shirt that says, the Wi-Fi is broken, so I guess I have to go outside.
That's pretty awesome.
Will Fix. Is that really his name, you think? Maybe not. It's kind of genius.
I like that
I
name,
hope you've
yeah.
taken advantage
I
if
know,
that's actually
exactly.
your name. Have you ever made a 3-coil pickup? Negatives, positives?
I've not. No, I've had people ask me to do it, but I've never actually pulled it off, I've never done it.
Vinny's World is talking to BC Rich 581, so I think this is still relevant. I also saw somewhere that Seymour Duncan wraps some of their coils with copper foil to change the inductance, which adds to more combinations too.
Yeah, it's to make it quieter, actually, and it does goof with the inductance a little bit. Stevie Ray did that with his pickups to keep them quiet, and it does mess with it.
Patrick Hardy. Leslie. I know one thing. I will never go into a guitar shop or pawn shop with a worker from France. I can deal with a Cajun or Creole woman. That French lady talked me into a lefty guitar.
That's pretty funny.
That is funny. Whoops. Guess you have to learn how to play left-handed now, Patrick.
Or have some left-handed friends so they have something to play when they come over.
Man, that's funny.
That is funny.
CW. Are you familiar with G&L Z coils?
Mm-hmm.
What would happen if you did 3 coils staggered with 2 polarized opposite of the middle one in a staggered setup? That's a very specific question.
I can't even visualize that. I mean, I don't know how the phasing would work on that because it would be 3 separate coils, so I don't know. That's probably why they don't do it. The other thing you got to think about too is I was talking to my buddy who designs Seymour Duncan is Seymour Duncan, but the guy that really designs everything at Seymour Duncan, his name is Kevin. And I've known him for a really long time. And we were talking about some stuff one day on the phone. I was talking to him on the phone. And he's like, man, all these crazy ideas that people come up with, he's like, they've all been tried. We've tried it. Yeah, we tried that one. And because I've talked to him about the stuff that I do. It was back when I was developing the center punch. And he's like,
Will Fixes, that's his real name.
That's so cool. He's like, we tried this and this didn't work and this is what we did instead and blah, 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 blah. And so all those crazy things people have tried. And there's a reason probably why you don't see them. Because if they fall directly in the I tried it and it was stupid or it didn't work or it didn't sound good camp. And so you never see it. Which is funny.
Dave Gerala. I have the Ampro 2 Jazzmaster with the series rhythm circuit. Do you know if these are reverse wound, reverse polarity? It does a weird buzz that gets quieter with coil tap on, but it stops in parallel middle position.
Yeah, then maybe they are. Because you'll get weird buzzes going away and coming, depending on the combination. So maybe they are reverse wound, reverse polarity. Most of Fender's stuff is now, so I would think that it probably is, but I haven't physically checked a Jazzmaster. If we do a pickup for you, it will be that. If we do that pair, if we do a pair of pickups for a Jazzmaster, they will be that. But I would think it probably is.
Curtis Chavez, what's the deal with Bartolini pickups? They seem to be highly regarded, but you rarely see OEM Bartolinis, and I have not heard them locally.
They're mostly based. All my bass player friends love Bartolinis, and I've never actually heard them in guitar stuff, so I don't know.
Vinny's World. Dylan, by the way, I finally ordered a Tonex from IKM directly. Something. It has Steve's SLO 100 LOL.
Oh, nice. Steve Sterlacci did a couple of profiles for them, yeah. No, that's cool. I'm glad you finally got, because he's in Hong Kong, so he's having a hard time getting stuff.
Mm-hmm. James Howell, does a pull route in a Strat fit P90s?
Yes.
Wayne Hussey. Anyone? I still don't think I'm saying that right. I don't even remember what it's supposed to be.
Fine.
I'm just stuck on that.
That's how we call it, yeah.
Knows who I'm talking about, I'm sure. Anyone considering the wide range JM Cuneife pickups? I have a Fender Japan JM with them, and my Dylan JM pickups are better and cheaper.
Interesting. Could you get in the comments and tell me why you like, because what we make is basically like a 60s Jazzmaster sort of setup, and why you like them more than the Kunifei ones, the offset, because of the offset ones, he said. I bet it's because mine have more balls in the mid-lows, and they are not so jangly on the highs, even though they are a little bit. They're probably smoother and not so picky, ice picky. That would be my guess from what I heard today, but I want to know what you think. I don't think those pickups are going to do as well as they think. I think those pickups are going to do well with people who want all the Fender things, and who think the cool new Fender thing is cool, which is fine. But I think they're going to be very niche-y tonally, and so people aren't going to just... if you have 4 Strats, like there's some of you that are probably watching right now who have 2 or 3 guitars with my stuff in them. And I think, and thank you, and I think that pickup is not one, that Kunifei thing is not one that it's going to be like, well, I have 2 Strats, I'm going to swap all my Strats out for that. It's going to be so niche-y, I don't think it's necessarily going to do as well as...
So he said, what I like about them is the warm definition. The Kunifeis are indeed jangly, which I like, but yours are more versatile for most of the stuff I play.
That's exactly what I'm getting at. I think those are they're cool. They probably sound cool doing certain stuff. They're kind of like Silver Sky pickups. They're like sort of one-dimensional. They do a thing very well. They do the clean John Mayer thing very well, but that's about it. These are going to be the same way, I think. Would be my guess. Thank you for the input, by the way.
Rusty, what do you think of the Stets Bar Tremolo?
They're neat. I don't want one, but they're neat. I've seen them on guitars, like guys that really like them and use them well. They're cool.
Rusty Shackelford, can I get a zebra humbucker from you with the screws in the white bobbin like a Shaw bucker?
See that pickup over there? See the zebras over there?
Yeah.
Is the screw side on the cream side or is it on the black side?
I don't know.
I think it's on the cream side.
No. Oh, wait. No. It's on the black.
The slug side is cream.
Yeah.
And the black side is screw.
Yep.
I guess we could change that and just make... I guess I could just swap that.
So there's no reason. The holes are...
Yeah, we could do that. Yeah, we could do it. I would just have to order them backwards. And I think people have asked me about that before, so maybe I should just do it.
I don't know.
Yeah, maybe I should just do that. I'll start ordering the creams. We want the creams in the screw side?
Yes.
Okay.
So it does matter. They are different?
No, it's screw and slug, but what he's saying is he wants this one to be cream and this one to be
but
black.
what do you mean you have to order something different? You can't just put slugs in this?
No,
They're different.
These are threaded. Yeah,
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, so I have to order cream. He wants cream screws.
Screws.
Okay, I'm gonna write this down because that's no big deal. I can do it. And I've had people ask about it before, so we're just gonna write this down right now.
Cool.
Cream screw 50 and black slug. That might actually help because I think black screw bobbins are on back order right now, so that actually might help. Okay, cool. Job done.
Steve Zipper. Is that your real name? Is it possible to wind a pickup that has a flat frequency response?
Mm-mm. And I don't know why you would want that. But no, not really.
James Howell, does it matter to twist hot and ground wires in the control cavity? Wouldn't that add capacitance to the signal?
Not over that distance, it wouldn't. It's only a few inches. And theoretically, it keeps it quieter, but I've never really seen a benefit to that. Most of those myths in the control cavity are myths. the star grounding thing and the twisting the wires thing and all that stuff is just a bunch of garbage. It's not that big a deal.
I don't know what my face did. Curtis Chavez says, LOL, that look that Leslie gave before she had to scoot over to the zebra pickup. I don't know what I did.
I don't know what you did either.
Just my face.
I didn't see. I think you're waiting for me to explain to you exactly what to look for.
That's
how I took it.
I don't know.
Because I think you were like, I don't know what I'm looking at.
I don't know what my face did. It'll be all right.
It was fine. I didn't see it as anything negative. And I'm the only one that matters.
Sure.
Sure.
Sorry, I got behind here because...
You had to go look at pickup slugs?
No, just because you keep talking.
I'm good.
You just keep talking.
We only have 5 minutes left anyway.
Oh, well, we better hurry up because we have 6 questions.
Before we get into
Actually,
off-topic stuff.
That's off-topic. Will Fix. I've been adding dummy coils to my builds with P90s, and it's awesome. So quiet. Why isn't this done more?
That's a good question. Probably because of room. More than anything.
Rusty Shackelford said, I'll order that zebra pickup now if I can leave you a note about the screws, and I'll wait till you get everything for you to make it.
Okay.
That's nice.
Thank you.
It's really cool when you see question and then order.
But see, okay, I just want everybody to take note who's never ordered from me before, or those of you that are lurking in the comments and don't normally comment or don't participate, or even those of you that are watching right now that don't actually like me or think whatever. I'd like you to look at this, realize that this is why we do this, because he's like, hey, I want a thing, and I just made a change to how we do stuff because we're having this conversation and it's real, and that is very cool. Idea. Yeah, you could not call up Seymour Duncan. Well, we don't do it that way, and we would have to order 7 million of them, and it just so happens that I need to order more of those right now. It's perfect. I love this right here. This is why we do it. Okay, keep going. Because we're in lightning round.
Well, you got to stop talking then. Fat Philosopher, do manufacturers prefer pickup rings to direct mount?
I think so because it's easier.
Joe Hervey, 84, I think he was asking everybody else, what does everyone like for the high gain stuff? Maybe he's asking you. I don't know.
I like our Super 8 for sure.
Cool. Rusty Shackelford, are push-pull volume pots and tone pots interchangeable, or any volume or tone pots for that matter?
Yes. It's how you wire them. One is a variable resistor and one is wired as a voltage divider. Tone, volume, in that order.
Hawkman Hawk says, I don't have a Dillon Talks tone pickup because I can't make up my mind. Center punch 8 or slant 6. I'm going to put them in an offset parts caster EVH style, bolted to body, or hiding under a Jazzmaster cover.
Center punch.
There you go. Mine made up.
Center punch. All day. For that, what you're doing?
Yeah. Fat Philosopher said, wait, there are people who don't like Dillon?
Yeah. Fortunately, I don't pay much of attention to him, but.
Patrick Hardy said, do you have a copy printer? If so, can you mail me a copy of my last order? If you can't, I understand. Can we just email you your last order? What does that mean?
Yeah, who is that?
Patrick Hardy. No, we don't print.
We don't even own a printer.
Nope. Electric all day long. Everything's electronic. I take notes electronically. I do everything electronically. Oh, Joe Hervey says he likes Yankee fans. Cecil Music, is the Callahan Bigsby upgrades worth it?
I don't think so. I think a well set up Bigsby is a well set up Bigsby. Get a real one. Don't get a B50. Or anything with a 0 or 100. Get the one with the single digit number, the 5, 7, 6, 5, 6, 7, 12, whatever. And you'll be fine as long as you set it up good. I don't like all that gimmicky stuff.
Fat Philosopher said, people might not like Dylan, but no one can hate Leslie.
That's right.
I mean, somebody just talked about my face, so I don't know.
That's right.
It's questionable. All right, it is 9 o'clock.
Ooh, wait, no. One more thing. So, Vinny's World. I did something special. So, you ordered a guitar at Texas Toast, right? For Stratathon. And you cannot tell this right now, but this is a brushed Bakelite pickguard. It looks so sick.
What does Bakelite mean?
It's a cellular material. It will actually catch on fire. It's like...
Can we test it?
No. Not this one, we can't. See how it chipped out in the back when they drilled it? Mm-hmm. Because it's like... I mean, you can't see it from the front. But anyway, this is such a cool material. And he wants 2 humbuckers in it. And I don't normally do this, but I knew that he would think it was cool. So we got the ones where the pickup, it's not square, it's round. So it fits like perfectly.
Ooh, wow.
Isn't that cool?
That's tight.
Yeah, it fits perfectly around it instead of a square. And we're going to go with no covers.
And how do you know he'll like it?
Because he wants black. It's all blacked out. Oh. And so we're going to do black bobbins. And I think his guitar is going to be like orange or some crazy color.
But all black.
With all black
accent.
everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, we're going to do it this way and do plain bobbins and make it look really clean. It's going to be awesome. Anyway, that was sitting there, so I figured I'd show you. All right. Well, I guess that's 9 o'clock. So here's what 9 o'clock is. 9 o'clock is off-topic hour. Or however long we go. Usually, last week we went like 35, 40 minutes. So every question, you can ask us whatever you want. We might answer it. It's off topic only. If you have a guitar question after 9 o'clock, it has to be a super chat. That's how we do it. And this is like next level of just hanging out and getting to know you all and that sort of thing. And so here we go. So there's one question so far.
So far, and he's still here because BC Rich 581 just said 9:02 topic transition time, and BC Rich 581 sent in a question earlier. He said, "Way off topic, no knives, crossbows."
I actually no, knives are on topic. Knives are free game. Always. So I actually, I don't have a place to shoot, and I've always been fascinated with archery. Actually, it's been a thing that I've always wanted to do, and I've been thinking about it lately, like wondering if it's a road I want to go down, because competitive or not competitive, recreational shooting of any type. And I know this gets into some sticky area for some people, but for me, I only have one good eye. So sports, because I have this lazy eye, right? So the way that translates to real life is if I shoot a basketball, it's going to hit the front or the back of the hoop. It's not going to go in the hoop. Like I have a real hard time with that depth perception. And so like tennis is kind of out, baseball is kind of out. There's a lot of things that are kind of out for me. But I used to competitive shoot, and because I only need one eye to do it, and I'm really good at it. And I have not done it in a long time, so I'm probably not that good at it anymore. But anything like that, so archery or, competitive rifles like the, biathlon kind of stuff, like that kind of stuff is so interesting to me because I have this one good eye and I can make good use of it. So I have been thinking about getting into archery in general, but I don't have a place right now, so that might change.
Super chat from Vinny's World. Thank you for the super chat, so we know he's still here.
Yeah, thank you.
Oh, man, that's so awesome. Thanks so much. I was going to email Matt and tell him to not tell me which pickups you're putting in it, LOL. I'm leaving the rest to you guys to surprise me.
Awesome, because I didn't
fun.
tell him what I'm making him, and he didn't ask, and I figured that you were going to be cool enough, and so that is exactly what I'm doing.
Cool enough.
Vinny's cool, man. All that pile of pickups over there,
Yeah.
almost all of that's going to him.
Super chat from Mr. Goat. Hello, Mr. Goat. Our guitar's still cool. Good to see you guys.
Cool guitars are cool. Stupid guitars aren't.
Wow. I hope your baby girl and girl cat are well.
Yes. Yes.
Haven't seen you in a while.
For sure. Thank you, Mr. Goat.
All right. So let me scroll up, and everybody's talking about archery now.
Oh, are they?
Steve Zipper says, do it. You'll love archery. Jeffrey Egan says, I really want a crossbow. Joe Hervey 84 says, try to put an arrow through a pickup. Fat Philosopher, in Japan we love sport archery. Really big here. Wayne Hussey said, I had to cancel my game night with my brother because he was chairing the AGM of his archery club.
Oh, wow. That's crazy.
John Howe says, no, don't go down that road. You'll shoot your eye out.
Yeah, it's funny that everybody's so, it's, I don't know. Anything pew-pew related, I sort of avoid because I just don't want to piss anybody off, but I am so fascinated with it from the competitive or from the recreational side of it that I just really enjoy it a lot. And yeah, so.
Steve Rezer says, maybe your eye isn't lazy. It just wants to do its own thing.
That is exactly what is the problem. That is exactly
You
the
have
problem.
a rebel eye, not a lazy eye.
Ooh, is that what we should start calling?
You have a rebel eye.
Yeah.
That's great. Wayne Hussey says, having one good eye sucks. Have the same problem with my left eye. I think it's a cataract, so I have a doctor's appointment. And Windsurf Maui says, I have a depth perception problem. How do you overcome it when soldering pick guards? It frustrates the heck out of me.
So what's really funny about it, how can I demonstrate it, I guess? So,
Dave Jarala says that eye is a free spirit.
that's right. So, for example, let's say, so like this is a glass sitting on a table, right? If I go up to it, I will bump into it. It happens really bad with tall glasses, and it happens really bad with like a salt shaker, for example. It's got a small base on it, or a bottle of super glue, right? Like I'll knock it over. So what I've learned, and I don't notice myself doing this anymore, but what I learned to do is I will touch my hand on the table. See where my pinky is right here? I will touch my hand on the table, and that will identify where the spot is, and then I will not. See how when I set it back down, I touch with my pinky? I identify that spot. What's weird...
And sometimes he puts stuff down just really...
Yeah, sometimes I'll like slam it down and be like, oh crap, I didn't actually mean to slam it down. But it's because I screwed that up. It depends on the light. It depends on, we'll be in like a restaurant and it's dark and it's like, or all monochrome color, like if there's no contrast. Sometimes, like, I don't know, I've lived with it all my life, so I compensate for it pretty well. Driving's not a big deal, because anything outside of the arm's length is not as big of a problem. So I can mountain bike, I can ride motorcycles, I can, do all that kind of stuff. It's not a problem. It's like, it's within this range right here where it's the worst.
Dominique Brooks says, opinion on the CRKT CEO? Any similar knives you like more?
Yeah, so actually, I actually love that knife. I have not bought that knife. My version of that is the Boker. This is a Lucas Burnley design, and this is a Boker Quaken. And it's basically almost exactly kind of the same type of thing. Sorry, we're trying to get the camera to focus. Yeah, it's kind of the same kind of thing, called the Boker Quaken. And it's just a little liner lock. This one's got plain G10. They do a whole bunch of different scales. But I like a flipper. I think the CEO has a thumb tab. Maybe they make a flipper too. But I like a flipper, so yeah. And I have another version of this that has a pen blade instead of a Quaking blade like this. Yeah.
Super chat from Unhung Hero.
Nice. That's
Sorry.
awesome.
I bought a USA PRS pickups for my SC, and I am not impressed with the quality. Super thin wire, brass base plate, and an obnoxious amount of solder on the cover.
Oh, interesting.
I don't know if that was a question or just a fact.
Wow.
Or...
Thanks for the super chat, by the way. But that's interesting. I have not had that experience, so that's interesting that you had that experience.
Dominique says they make a flipper too.
Yeah, I knew they did. Now that I think about that.
Jeffrey Egan said he'd buy a crossbow if he could stop buying guitars.
I'd buy a crossbow if I'd stop buying knives, but...
Martian Murray said, I'd like a regular bow and arrow like Robin Hood. The Fox one, not Kevin Costner. He'd rather have an animated version than a Kevin Costner one.
Oh, man. That's
Sorry,
so
that's
funny.
I don't get this. Paul will have to tell me, or somebody else is going to get it, not me.
What?
Today I heard this is Paul McNary. Today I heard a new meme. I think that is what you youngins call it. Unscheduled rapid disassembly. I just stopped in my tracks and thought for a moment, and then rolling on the floor, laughing my ass off. It just blew up.
Actually, that is what they said on the news about Elon Musk's rocket today. That it disassembled itself. On the news tonight when
Oh, that's what he's saying.
That might be what he's talking about.
Unscheduled rapid disassembly.
That's what they said. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It went into a self-destruct
Wait, so they
mode.
already turned it into a meme?
They must have. It went into self-destruct mode and then initiated a unscheduled rapid self-disassembly. They said it on the news.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I thought I was like totally missing something.
Yeah.
But he's saying that means it blew up.
That means it blew up.
Oh, that's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fancy words.
Yep.
Wayne Hussey said, how are you able to work with thin pickup coil wire with this visual impairment? I'm struggling to solder the contacts on a push-pull pot.
I only need one eye. I have both eyes. They both work. But eyesight is definitely key. You have to have it to do it. For sure. Ooh, I should show you I got 2 knives this week. I kind of went off the rails. So, I have been a huge fan of the Jack Carr series of novels. And because I've always liked everything like Robert Ludlum, Tom Clancy, all those kind of books like that. And to me, Jack Carr is like the new Tom Clancy, in my opinion. Well,
He's not write near as many books, though.
No, he's not as prolific yet, but I think he will be. His protagonist in his books carries a fixed blade knife, a pistol, and a rifle all the time. And his first book, he carried an axe. In his first book, he carried a Winkler axe. And I don't care about an axe, but they make knives too. And so I've been wanting one of these for a while. And this is one of those knives that you really have to, you have to get the drop right. Otherwise, you will not get one. But this is a Winkler Special Duty 1. Come on. Focus.
Move it a little bit. It doesn't know where you're at yet.
It doesn't.
There you go.
There you go. It's 80 CRV2 steel with a sculpted maple blade and a Kydex sheath. And it is absolutely the coolest little clip point thing. I absolutely love this knife. I've been carrying it. It's not stainless. It's got the oxide coating on it. I have been carrying this, and it is absolutely incredible. Then, In the later books, he carried a half-face blades knife. I actually carried a folder, but I don't like the folder, so I didn't buy it. But I bought the fixed blade, and this is a half-face blades. This is the half-face blades knife, and this thing, Crow Junior, is what this is called.
There you go.
And it's what is this? S35 VN, black G10 handles, sharp as crap. It is absolutely incredible, and I've been carrying this one the last couple of days, and it is absolutely. This is one too that the drops will sell out in like minutes, and I absolutely just accidentally caught one last week and was able to get this. So this is like these two knives are like kind of. Literally like kind of grail collection pieces for me. Even though I'm going to carry them all the time, I don't care about it. I don't buy anything that I will not carry. Like I only have 1 or 2 knives that are like show pieces that I don't really carry. Everything else I actually carry all the time. And this is a little on the big side, but I'm figuring it out.
Since that one knife you had that you thought was going to be a collector doesn't seem to be a collector, I might steal it from you.
Which one's that?
The blue one. The candy one. The donut one.
Oh, yeah, you can have that one. That's the only one that's kind of collector.
But it's not,
But
right?
it's not really holding its value like
Yeah.
I thought it was going to. So, no, you could use it if you want. I don't care. I mean, if you're going to have a self-defense knife especially, you might as well bring something out that's pink. Because this thing is pretty crazy. I'm not going to put it up there.
Oh.
Yeah, this is a Microtech UTX. This is the full-size UTX in M390 with the Desert Warrior pattern on it. Pretty cool. Anyway, where are we at with questions?
Just get a new knife?
Sure.
That was easy.
That was easy.
Wayne Huzzy says, I have to ask, does the knife fetish extend to the kitchen knives in the family home?
Yep.
We have a set of globals.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, I haven't I haven't spent the money that I've spent in here on knives in the kitchen, but we have nice knives in the kitchen.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have German stuff, we have Japanese stuff, we have some nice stuff in there. I haven't gone nuts with it yet, but it will happen. I was cooking today thinking, man, my pocket knife is nicer than this. Most of the time I just use my pocket knife. Most of the time I'll just pull out whatever I have in my pocket. We have some Spyderco's in the kitchen. I actually bought 2 Spyderco Bow Rivers. One we keep in the van, and one we keep in the kitchen, and I use it a lot in the kitchen. A lot. It's probably one of my favorite knives.
Everybody's pointing out that it's 420 Day also.
It is. Yep.
It's almost Earth Day.
Mm-hmm. What day is Earth Day?
The 22nd, right?
Oh, is it?
What did Dawn say it was? Chinese something?
It's Chinese Language Day.
Oh, I can't speak Chinese.
I can't either.
I listened to some Chinese the other night. I don't know why.
We did. We have some friends that speak Chinese.
I was listening to Chinese. Like, it wasn't helpful or beneficial to me at all.
No. They were showing us some translation stuff that was pretty interesting and kind of, I didn't know. The translating stuff is getting better, and even the like live translating stuff. They were showing us this thing where if you needed to translate something, you could actually more or less call a number, and a person on the other end of it, you would hand it to the person that you needed to hear it, and then they would talk to that person for you. Like, and be a live translator, which I'm sure that is available in other things.
Oh, I told you about the blind one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was talking about one the other day that if someone is blind, you could like FaceTime with them and help them see whatever they wanted to see.
Yeah.
As a like it was a
It's all
volunteer driven. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that kind of stuff is technology, man. Super cool.
Dominic Burke says, do you watch any knife makers on YouTube?
Mm-hmm. Quite a few. Yep, quite a few. That's a road that I will probably not go down because I don't have the... I would design them. If I could get somebody to build stuff that I designed, I would totally design knives, but I wouldn't make them myself.
Bacon Tracks Backing Tracks for Guitar said, my uncle had that stone that Indians used as a knife. Actually, it was their knife.
Yep, that's really cool. I've seen a lot of artifact stuff, like artifact weapons, because I'm Native American, and so I've spent a lot of time researching and learning and actually going and seeing various museums and stuff. And actually, I know people that have things that are passed down in their family and stuff. It's pretty crazy even how they made that stuff. And even not just knives, like I have a friend in Arizona who has, I don't know if it's her great grandmother's or whatever, but the thing, the Hopis use this round, smooth stone to make, it's like this big stone. It's like this big, and it's like a perfect dome. They call it a peaky stone because they make this peaky bread, and basically it's blue cornmeal and all this stuff, and it's a liquid. It's like a liquid batter, like way thinner than pancake batter. And they build a fire, and they put this stone in the middle of the fire. And every family has a peaky stone that they've gone out in the desert and found, and they have to go find it because it's got to be the right shape. They carry it back, and they put it in the middle of their fire, and they pour the batter on it, and it's so hot that it like cooks this thin thing that when they roll it up, it honestly looks like a rolled up burnt newspaper.
Okay.
And then they slice it, and you eat it, and it's like
phyllo dough?
It's like burnt paper. Is
so
what
it's like crumbly,
mm-hmm,
like
it's kind of crumbly, and when you eat it, it like melts in your mouth almost like nothing. But that's this cooking thing, and then they also have like mortar and pestles that are actual natural stones that then over hundreds of years of passing it down through families has actually worn out like a natural mortar and pestle. Yeah, all that stuff's really cool. And of course their pottery and stuff is real. You know, it's not like what you see at a gift shop. Like it's real, like their family made it. Which is pretty neat. You know.
How do you know how to make that thicker bread?
Like the thick fry bread?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should make that.
You have to deep fry it though. Oh. Is the problem.
I mean, I have my cast iron pan.
So when I lived in Arizona.
So like when we went to that restaurant, is that what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm.
We ate, okay.
When I lived in Arizona, one of my funnest things we used to do is I have a family. If you Google Spider Rock in Canyon de Chelly, it's it's DECHELLY. It looks like Canyon de Chelly.
Yeah.
But Spider Rock is like this really famous Native American. You cannot, without a Native American guide, go into that canyon. It's like sacred, whatever. Well, anyway, I have friends that their family is from. That's where they're from. Like that is where they're from. So we could go down there whenever we wanted, basically. And about a couple times a year, they would slaughter a sheep, make fry bread, and we would drive in there through the river and stuff. It was the best four-wheeling ever because it's like untouched but awesome. And then go in there, and with their whole family, literally they would bring, I mean, the sheep would be alive when we got there. Like
the whole process.
From beginning to end, do the whole thing, yeah. And mutton, it would be mutton because that's what sheep is. But mutton's kind of greasy. But anyway, yeah. I don't know how we got down that whole road, but
you went there.
I love all that stuff. I love it a lot.
Did you answer the question about watching knife makers?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know where I was.
I went down.
Timothy Potter says you have to try Globals. He has all the others, but Global is pretty sick.
I will try Globals.
Wayne Hussey said, I'm a translator and Chat GPT is killing our industry. He's working on something for the Danish Ministry of Defense at the moment, and that kind of stuff is obviously not going to get sent to a chatbot, contracts, etc. But mainstream stuff has dried up.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like they're putting AI in everything. Like, I told you it was added to Canva. They added it to Grammarly. Like, it's in Notion. Like, there's all these. It's everywhere. You don't have to even just go to a special website. They're integrating it. I mean, we're trying to figure out how to integrate it in our software because people want it.
So I don't know if you guys saw it. You might not have seen this yesterday because you may not follow this type of music, but Drake and was it The Weeknd and Drake?
Yes.
I think it was The Weeknd and Drake.
I was like, what are we talking about? Yeah, it was.
A song came out on Spotify and everywhere, and it was not real. And the entire song was AI generated. And Spotify took it down. The record company killed the whole thing, but you can still find it on YouTube. And it's real. I mean, it sounds real. Mm-hmm. The problem is that they're trying to figure out the legal ramifications of it, because if the person never performed it, then you're not copyright infringing because the person never performed it in the first place. So is it going to be a thing where you're going to have more legal protections for your...
Can you put insurance on your voice or
Well, that's what I was about to say. I wonder if there's legal protections for your likeness and your... have you ever seen that phraseology where it's likeness and... Name and likeness is one. You can't use... If I say you can't use my name and likeness, that means that you can't use my face in your advertising. You can't use my videos in your advertising, whatever. So are they going to have to widen that stuff? Because it's not a copyrighted piece of material because it never happened.
Marcia Murray says there's a Nirvana AI song on YouTube right now.
There's an Amy Winehouse one that is scary because she's dead, obviously. And it sounds real.
So is Nirvana. Hello.
Well, that's true. Yeah, but that one, I've heard that one, and
Timothy
it's not
Potter
as good.
says, how do you find time to watch YouTube? That's all his downtime.
I mean, that's all I do if I'm not working. And when I'm working, because I'm got a wire in my hand, going on a pickup, and an iPad going right here with Netflix documentaries and YouTube. Yeah, if I sit in here for however long, working.
Yep.
Gotta occupy yourself somehow, because this junk is boring.
Rusty said, I don't know if you want to answer this or not, but Rusty asked, Dylan, which tribe are you from?
Chippewa, from the Sault Ste. Marie tribe of Chippewa Indians in Sault Ste. Marie, Michigan, and that part of Ontario, that part of Canada. Yep.
Oh, Wayne Hussey said, we housed a Ukrainian mom and daughter for 6 weeks recently, and I'm assuming I don't know, maybe they didn't speak English well. We got by just fine with the Google Translate app.
Yeah, it's crazy, right?
It's really cool.
Yeah. Wow, I can't imagine. Mm-mm. I've talked to other people that have been in a position to help refugees, and that's an interesting experience. That's crazy. Yeah, I don't know about the AI thing. I'm curious to see. I mean, it's gonna have different applications and ramifications throughout.
Mm-hmm. BC Rich 581 says, I listen to a lot of audiobooks while working at home. I can't get the hang of watching anything and working. I don't know that you listen more than you watch, though, because he gets mad when something has subtitles. He's like, I cannot work and watch this.
Yeah. So that's the problem with Netflix is there's so many good things on now, but they are all subtitled. And so I don't do it. Typically I'm doing I'm listening to podcasts. That's usually what my thing is. I'm like a 40-year-old woman and I listen to a lot of true crime stuff. That's the main demo. You are the main demo
I know,
for true
you just
crime.
like totally called me out though.
I didn't call you out. I called me out.
I know, but I am.
I know. Yeah, so I listen to podcasts.
It's not
quite
even
a
my
bit.
favorite thing though. I do like it.
What is your favorite podcast?
My favorite podcasts are all about cults.
Oh yeah,
I have
that's
like
right.
3 of them.
Yeah, that's
I
right.
love them.
Yeah, she has these she listens to these podcasts that are like about like this crazy group of people was a cult and here's how they figured it out.
And then
yeah.
like real life things that are kind of culty, like because like groups of people get so into things. It's just fascinating.
Mm-hmm.
People are fascinating to me.
The whole group think mentality
yeah.
thing, and I don't want to get too
because
far
I
down
don't
this
have
road,
that. So it is
either.
fascinating to me. I'm not a communal person. I don't need community like that. Like it's just fascinating to me that
Yeah.
people need that.
And you're not a peer pressure person at all.
Right.
No. Yeah, you cannot peer pressure her. Hey, we're all going to do this. Do you want to do it? Nope. Come on. Nope. She just won't do it.
No is
Like,
a whole sentence.
yeah,
I don't even make an excuse.
She just won't do it. There's no, I'm not doing it. Okay, that's fine. So yeah, I think that's why I like the true crime stuff. The same reason. I mean, I like all that cult stuff too, because I hate. So I will just say I hate talking about politics. Or caring, like really getting wrapped up in it. I mean, everybody on my channel knows this. But I really like people. I really like understanding people. And so true crime is a way to do that. And, different kinds of people and experiences. And that culty stuff is the same way. It's like you're just trying to figure out people.
Yeah.
Without the politics and without all of the stuff that drives you nuts to think about or talk about.
Right.
It's just a way to still understand how people work.
I mean, I'm not going to say I understand it. It's fascinating.
Well, to try to learn, I mean.
Yeah.
To try to learn how people work.
I definitely should have. I mean, psychology and sociology fascinates me.
Agreed.
Anyway.
Yeah.
Timothy Potter says, for us veterinarians, AI means artificial insemination.
Oh my God. That's so funny.
Steve Rezer. So, it's Leslie saying, my baby, he's a Chippewa. That Tim McGraw song. Oh my God. Sorry, that made me really laugh.
Yeah.
That's pretty good, Steve.
That is pretty good. Mm-hmm.
Martian Murray, non-deaf people that watch TV with subtitles irritate me. If I wanted to read, I'd get a book. That means I irritate you because I love them. And they're closed captions, not subtitles, unless they're in a different language.
Yeah.
For the record.
Yeah. You're talking to
I love closed captions.
You're talking to an accessibility person over here, so she's going to tell you all the technical stuff about the handicap accessibility or disability accessibility stuff. I used to hate them too, but once I understood why and how they're there, now it makes a lot of sense. But I do have a lot of background information because of her. No, I get that.
BC Rich 581 says cults like Heaven's Gate. Yeah.
Yeah, like
all
that kind of stuff.
I mean,
yeah.
we watch those documentaries too.
Yeah. Nexium.
Yes.
We got all into Nexium. We didn't get into Nexium.
Yeah.
We got into learning about the crazy stuff that happened with it.
Yes.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
Shut up.
Could you try again?
No.
And like those podcasts, so that is probably what got me into it. Anyway.
Yeah.
And now they live in Atlanta and they're like so close.
Oh, they are, huh?
Yeah. Anyway.
That's funny. They're like, these people just got weird on us.
They're still here.
They are still here. No, I just think learning about people is interesting. I think it's really interesting. And I think, I also think, and you know this by now, that having an opinion or feeling a certain way about something is not wrong, and that you...
Unless you're in a cult.
unless you're in a cult.
Okay.
Yeah, it's cool.
I was trying to find where I was at. Oh, David Gerala. Not a podcast, but if you're into history and geopolitical type stuff, I can't recommend the YouTuber Kraut enough.
Oh,
Seriously, go check that guy's stuff out. He's great.
Yeah, I think geopolitical stuff in history is interesting. I don't like to spend a lot of time, and I know this, and it's not because I want to stay ignorant. I like to stay informed, but accurate information is hard to get, right? So I like to stay informed about what's going on, but I will not participate in conversations that are, let's just say, whoever said that just now gets annoyed with people that watch stuff, right? I'll tell you the number one thing that annoys me about social media. It's the person who cannot get through one conversation without bringing up politics. And it's the person who cannot turn every human, every human thing into a political thing. Like we are humans trying to get through life. And so I feel a certain way because I'm a human. Well, that means you're such and such a political whatever. I no longer want to talk to you. Like, I am a human being trying to understand a thing. And so I think the geopolitical stuff is interesting in the historical sense because we can learn a lot. So anything history related, hit me with it. Anything present political related, I tread a little lightly because I just want to make sure that I'm getting accurate stuff. And that's
Unless it's conspiracies.
Unless it's conspiracies, because learning about conspiracies is the way to learn if they're not conspiracies or not. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Where did it go?
Because conspiracies are conspiracy theories until they're not.
Windsurf Maui says, next time you go on a trip, let the AI, Dylan, and Leslie host the show. Angel Raven 444 says, yeah, I like listening to Fall of Civilizations podcast. Latest one is Carthage.
So I've been listening to the one that's really good. One of my favorite ones is Real Dictators. So if you want to talk about geopolitical history, Real Dictators is one of my favorites because they go through. Well, it's cool. It's just cool. And there's a couple other history ones that I really like. Rise and Fall of Civilizations is cool too.
And then people started talking about Arrested Development being a great show. I never watched that show. Did you watch that one?
No, but the band is awesome. Guitar player's a friend of mine.
Yeah.
Tennessee. Sorry.
We were sick a few weeks ago, and I was trying to watch a show because it's my boss's favorite show. So then there's all these memes I see all the time and like references he says and I don't get them and I can't stand that. So I was
trying to
it's the
catch
show
up.
Psych, and I never watched that one, so I'm trying to watch that. It's pretty good. It's funny. It's light.
It's kind of funny and dumb and light.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
But it's fine. It was great for what I needed it for when you know.
Yeah, when you're sick and you just want to fill some
And you
time
can't
and
think.
you can't think
Yeah.
very much. And yeah. I was watching engine build videos during that time.
Oh, that's weird.
I mean, it was like, this is a cylinder being honed, and I'm like, just staring at it.
Rusty just got deep on us. To observe and rationalize any topic without being a slave to unbridled emotion should be the goal of every thoughtful person.
That's a really good
I like
thing
that.
to say. Yeah. I also think the reason it's on my mind is because I wore that shirt yesterday in a picture and the freaking whole internet flipped out on me. And I don't have the other thing too is not everyone has a motive for everything. Like, you're not always trying to make a point. Like, it's not, somebody said, well, what's the point of you making this post? And I was like, to tell you that I was busy at work today. You're the one that got distracted with the shirt. I didn't say you're the one that got distracted with the shirt. But I was like, the point of the post is, yeah, I just think it's interesting that people do that. So, yeah.
Jason Albert said Simon Whistler has some amazing YouTube videos that would be right up your alley.
Oh, yeah.
He has multiple channels. Is that the science guy?
No, it's the Mega Projects. He's the British guy that's bald.
Yeah, he watches them, Jason.
I do. Those are my
Who's
right.
the one? What do you listen to when you're going to bed sometimes and it's just like...
I listen. Okay, that's dark documentaries. That's I listen to dark documentaries and Simon Whistler when I'm going to bed.
Who is the? It's not a British guy.
No, it's not a
boring.
British guy. He's super boring voice.
Yeah, very monotone. I'm like, how do you listen to that?
I don't even know what the guy's name is, but he has a bunch of like dark skies. And it's all about like military aircraft.
Yes, that one.
Dark Seas is all about
boats. Yeah,
and then there's dark. He has a whole bunch of them. Some of them are about conspiracy theories. Some of them are about like bad things that happened, like Hitler's.
So what is it called?
Well, he has a bunch of channels. So Dark Skies, Dark Seas, Dark whatever. It's the dark documentaries.
That's who's Jason's talking about?
No, the one he's talking about.
Wait, who is that guy? Or you don't know?
I don't know what this guy's name is.
Okay.
But Simon Whistler is this guy.
Yeah, I've never watched any of that stuff with you.
He's good.
I don't like history like you do.
I do. I do. A lot. Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I get wrapped. You wanted to watch something. I was like, this is going to be so dumb. And I was like, so into
The Boston Marathon bombing thing.
Yes.
Yes.
That was well
phenomenally
done. I mean,
done.
I can, if something is well done and people focused, I can be all in all the time. I like characters. I like people.
The Boston Marathon
I've
bombing
watched
thing.
some horrible shows because the characters were so good.
That just came out on Netflix is very well done if you've not seen it. I'm not a person. That's the other thing.
It's creepy though.
I'm not a TV person. That blurry thing.
That freaked me out.
I'm not a TV series person. Have you seen the latest whatever series? Nope. I have not seen it.
We don't see anything recent. And I'm a binger, so like I don't want to wait for a friggin' episode. So I'm like wait till it's out so I can like binge it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, that's funny. I guess that's makes sense.
Jason Albert says he watches that guy too.
He's good. He's boring. He's very dry. The Dark Skies guy is very dry.
And when do you watch it besides when you're going to bed?
I don't.
Okay. I mean, it's like, I'm a reader, so I'll be reading, and he'll turn his, and I'm like, oh, that is so dull. Like, how do you watch that?
But it's how I go to sleep, because it's like...
But you'll be listening for hours.
It's true. It's true.
It doesn't put you to sleep.
It's true.
I would be out like
no,
5
you know
minutes.
what it is? I think it's, I do it until I get tired, but it's not...
But you're so into it that
I love it, though.
It doesn't make you tired. It's just because you are tired.
No, maybe. I don't know.
You're weird.
I mean, nobody's denying that. Oh, that's funny.
Nobody's saying anything, so I think...
I think we're
I
about
don't know
to...
if we're like entertaining them or if they're like, what is going on?
I know. We're down to 61 people, too. This is the lowest people we've had. So they didn't want to hear.
So when we have fun, they don't have fun.
That must be what it is.
Whoops.
We probably had 150 people still. You started talking about cults.
That's fine. It's not my fault they're in a cult.
Yeah, I know. That's the other thing that happens too, I think. You're going to lose followers over this. I'm probably going to lose people I didn't really want to be friends with, so whatever. I don't really care. Like, I'm going to be who I'm going to be, and I hope that you get value from what I do. Other than that, and we don't have to be friends for you to learn about guitar stuff.
Now people are calling me out. He's not weird. I do the same thing.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
All right.
Wayne Hussey said 97 cult members walked out.
I know. I know. Oh my gosh. That's probably what happened. Cult people and people that are engrossed
Lance
in
Hungerford,
politics.
I don't even know that name. He just said hi, and then he said, "You couldn't lose me if you tried."
Well,
Thanks for being
thanks,
here,
man.
Lance.
Yeah, we
Are
don't
you
even.
a lurker?
He must be a lurker. That's cool. I love it.
Somebody earlier, like way earlier, said, I mean, like during your show, they were like, "My wife and I watch because I'm here," and I was like, "That's weird."
I've
Like,
heard
how
that
would you talk?
before. I've heard that before.
I mean, I don't have opinions on guitar stuff. Like, I read a question. Maybe it's that
Yeah,
southern accent.
It's
I'm just
probably what
kidding.
it is. I don't know. I am convinced, and this is probably inside baseball too much for a lot of you, but I'm convinced that us working together as much as we do, I think this brings out the fact that this isn't fake, that this is real. Because,
Maybe they're waiting for it to break.
oh, that's what it is. They're waiting for us to just
There's no
explode.
way.
There's no
you can
way
keep
that
this
you
up.
could keep this up for
10 years.
10 years of doing this.
Yeah.
There's no way that you could keep this up.
They're just waiting for that moment. You know, whatever my face was when I had to look at a pickup.
That's really what she's like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really just rage and be all the time.
That's probably what it is. Yep. Yep. Or the wife is sitting there, not that person. She's probably awesome. But there's probably some wife sitting there being like, I can't believe she lets him buy those guitars.
Paul McNary said, "We like Dylan, but we love Leslie."
Everybody says that. That's, yeah.
Paul and I connected, though.
Oh, I know. I have told her this because she's, there's nights when she's not felt good and not wanted to do it. And I'm like, you have to do it. Like, this show is not anything without you. You have to be here. Like, I mean, I can talk about guitar stuff all day long and it's fine, and I truly believe too that the future of what our channel does in the future is based on this community right here. I really think that when it really comes down to it, and I have to depend on you, which I already do, but I'm saying
Thank you.
the more we do this, it's gonna be these 65 people, or normally it's 100. Maybe people are busy tonight. After 9 o'clock, that really make the thing go. I firmly believe that it's already like that. So I'm glad to be friends with you all in this weird through the lens sort of way. I think it's true. All the people that don't like you in the comments and all the people that say crazy stuff in the comments and all that stuff, I'm not saying I don't care about them, but they don't make an impact on my life because they don't make an impact on my life. Y'all are here and buying pickups during the live stream thing and hanging out with us and laughing and carrying on, and I think it's real. It's cool.
Lance Hungerford says, "I've been here. I don't say much. I'm a drummer, not a guitar player, trying to learn."
Oh, that's
so
cool, man. That's cool.
I mean, I don't know guitar either. You can chime in
That's
anytime.
true. That's right. No, that's awesome.
And if you're here for the digression, I mean,
Yeah.
Wayne Hussey said the Tuesday stream without Leslie is not quite the same.
No, I agree. But the reason I do it is because I also know that there are people
That don't like me here.
that don't like you here. And there are also people that want to hear the slightly more unhinged opinion version of what I do on Tuesday. They want to hear that stuff. And
Because they're waiting for you to break too.
it's not that I don't have those opinions now. It's just that's the format. The other thing too is Thursday is about you. Mm-hmm. Tuesday is my opinion about a thing that I saw that week.
Yeah, but then you also... So
This
one's
is
different.
us talking back and forth, answering your questions, being here
Yes.
for you.
And there's still... So I think what people don't like is that I'm here and I don't know guitars, and I can miss things because some things don't make sense to me because I don't talk guitar, you know?
Right, yeah.
So, like, I try to catch as much as possible, so it's really helpful when you put questions in there, you know, like question marks, so I know to grab them. But I think people like the more, and then the way we grab them, I think, and people like the more real-time interaction when you're just doing it yourself. So that's why. It's just a different audience, I think.
Well, and that's why I do it at a different time.
Yeah.
That's why. And the other thing, too, is to put another layer of transparency on it, this is for me, too. Because we get dozens of emails a day. And we get comments and questions all over the internet on all of our social media platforms, and I cannot manage them. And I have to tell people, if you want to ask a question, come watch the live stream on Thursday. And if you can't be there, join Patreon, ask it ahead of time, and I will make sure it's included. I cannot answer every email about, and I really do try. But I know that I miss them because we get so many of like, my pot is scratchy. Can you tell me why? That's what this is for. Like, I want to make sure that we keep doing this so that we have a place for that. And all these crazy questions, like that some people, one person's going to say it's a dumb question, but the person that asked it is like, really wants to know the answer. And that's why I don't think there's any dumb questions when somebody says, can a volume pot be a tone pot? Yes, it can, and here's why. That's not a dumb question, even though it's a very basic to the guitar construction question. I don't care. I want everybody to be able to comfortable to do it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So.
and Vinny says it's nice having both the more serious podcasts on Tuesday and this format on Thursdays. Wayne Hussey says Tuesday is better time for those of us in Europe too.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Yeah, because he's up right now.
I know.
Yeah. I mean, that's crazy
I don't know why
talk.
this didn't scroll here. Super chat from Sassy Cat. Thank you for the super chat. Just got in. Coffee fun.
Thank you, sir.
That is awesome because we really like coffee.
Because we really like coffee. Yeah. Well, I appreciate everybody. And if you don't have much more going.
Hawkman Hawk says, I feel Leslie keeps the show going and adds that wife banter that is real.
So...
What does banter mean? Is that a negative?
It's like a back and forth.
Okay.
No, it's like a back and forth. And you know, that's interesting because one of the things my channel does not have, except for this,
is somebody to bounce around.
And that's one of the reasons why those other channels are so good. If you think about the Anderton stuff, if you think about that pedal show, you know, you got Dan and Mick, they're talking to each other.
Yeah.
I don't have anybody to talk to. So I don't have anybody to like joke with. And I think that's one of the reasons I've always not regretted, but one of the things that's sort of always bummed me out about my channel is people think I'm really boring. I'm not at all. The stuff is boring. This stuff is boring. Like the really technical stuff, it's like listening to that airplane guy at 10 o'clock at night. Like,
yeah, but somebody's super into that.
I know.
Oh.
But what I'm saying is, I think that if there was human interaction between me and somebody else in all of these videos, it would be better. But I don't have it. It's not available to me except for this right here. And that's why I like doing it. Because...
And I always say I don't know anything, but 10 years later, I
you
kind of
know a
something.
bunch of stuff. You know a bunch of stuff. And I mean, now both the kids know how to wind pickups. You've wound a pickup before. No, everybody knows a lot. So.
And I know it looks good.
Yeah.
Like, I know a bad pickup.
You know a bad pickup when you see one, and you know a good one when you see one. Yeah. No, it's fun. It's getting more and more fun too. Because what y'all can't see from where you're sitting is there's stuff everywhere. We shipped 8 pick guards today, loaded pick guards. Mm-hmm. We shipped 15 pickups. I think I'm going to ship maybe almost as many tomorrow. We are shipping 9 to 10 orders a day, and there are still 20 open. It is so busy right now.
Why are you talking guitars? Lance
I'm just saying,
Hungerford
it's so
said,
fun. So fun.
It seems like I remember you having an RC car out one time, and I'm like, that guy's not boring. And that right there is also why it's good to like chit chat and connect. Like now we've connected over knives, over RVs, over RC cars. Like you're more than guitars. And we love to travel, and like Jason Albert knows all the random facts, and we got to connect with him so he can show us around where he lives, and like it's just cool to be real with people. You know?
And there's strategy to. I mean, that's why the mountain bike is in the office, because I want people to know I do it.
Yeah, and the helmet back there,
and the motorbike helmet back there. There's a reason why I do that stuff, because I want people to know it's not just props. Like, I want people to know that I'm interested in more stuff than just guitars. Not that guitars aren't important, because they are what this is us. This is what we do. This is not a side business. This is not like making pickups is the thing that keeps our family going. So
Lance has been here a while. He said, I remember when Leslie wound her first pickup, you said you're not going to sell it. I'm like, I'll buy it.
Oh, wow.
I mean, if
that was in the
if
motorhome.
y'all buy them, I'll wind them.
Somebody said the other day, they're like, we're going to have a Brianna short run. And I'm like, we could do it. The Women of DTT series. Might have to come up with something.
That could be fun.
That could be fun.
Bryson's got his thing.
Bryson's got his thing. Yep. All right.
Could you jump 10 humbuckers with your RC car?
Oh, yeah. Totally. I haven't done much RC car stuff. I have a boat over there.
Wayne Hussey said, I saw you bought 1,000 bobbins. That's a lot of bobbins.
No, that was magnets.
Yeah,
I bought
magnets.
And I bought 2,000. I bought 1,000 single coil magnets, which actually isn't that many, and I bought 1,000 humbucker magnets in one shot, and those will not last me 3 months. And I bought 10, 15, 20 pounds of wire 3 weeks ago. And I am over halfway through it. It's so fun right now. So fun.
Charles Wallace says, I enjoy the fact that you're real. Interesting enough to drive 3 hours to have lunch with.
That's true.
And brought his parents.
Charles did come and have lunch with us. Yep. In the middle of Ohio.
Hogman Hawk says, we bought our first camper last year and was watching lots of YouTube videos and fell on some of yours. Then your guitar videos started showing up.
Oh, wow. That's really cool, man.
That's neat.
Backwards. That's cool. Yeah, I love it. Yep. I love it.
Do you know anybody that wants to buy an RV?
Yeah, our Class B motorhome is for sale right now. If it doesn't sell, we're going to continue to use it. If we have to go to Colorado later this summer, so we're probably going to use it if we still have it. We might use it at the end of the month for a weekend. So you might see some stuff out with us. We haven't been using it much, so that was kind of why we were selling it. But the more it sits there, I'm like, we should use it because it's just sitting there. It's not good.
Yeah, we just had no immediate plans. But so you throw it up for sale, and you're like, does somebody want it? Is somebody going to get better use out of it? But if it doesn't go, then we just use it. Then we just use it.
Yeah, then we just use it.
We just have to make time, though, and that feels hard right now.
Yeah, for me to take time off right now is really very difficult because it's just bonkers right now. Which is great. I'm not complaining about it, but it's just very
Angel Raven 444
focused.
said, if you flew an RC plane, what plane would it be?
I don't know. I really, honestly...
Did you fly one with Dave, or did you watch Dave fly?
I did fly one with Dave. So, Dastardly Dave, I don't know if he's
One of the Dangerous Brothers.
One of the Dangerous Brothers. He's in the comments.
If you watch...
When I was in Ohio, I went to the field with him and I flew a plane. But I don't know what I would fly. It's something I've been thinking about. I don't have room for it right now, so
There's a group of people here. They're not RC planes. What do you call like the competition-y things? That's not RC, is it? Or are they?
know.
Like the planes that are like this big that they like compete with? I have a friend that does that. So they like have stuff here.
Yeah, no, that
That is what that is? Oh, I don't know. He's done it since we were like kids. His dad did it too.
Oh, really? Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't know. I would...
And he plays guitar.
If I would... Let's say I was going to spend the money on an RC plane, I probably wouldn't. I would probably buy a bow. Like if I...
You just brought it around full circle.
If I was going to go into...
There you go, BC Rich 5.
or like a competition rifle. Like I would go... Or a pistol, competition pistol. I would go into that direction before I went into more RC stuff. Just because... I don't know. It's a gadget that's an engineering thing, and I don't have a lot of interest in flying them. I think they're really neat, but I just don't have a lot of interest in flying them.
Which is interesting because you love aerodynamics.
I do. Very much. And I could probably be very easily swayed. If I went and hung out with those guys for an afternoon, I would be buying a plane.
Yeah.
I'm sure of it. But I'm like that with anything. Like if I went golfing once, I know I would have all the baddest ass golf stuff and a bunch of back pain and not be able to do it very much. So I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure. But the competitive shooting thing is something that I've really been tossing around getting back into.
Cool. And Lance also rides mountain bikes, but he said he's old now. He used to race, but he's old. Apparently he lives in Albuquerque.
Nice. Albuquerque.
We haven't been
there in a long time.
to the northeast or to the southwest.
In a long time.
In a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And those are like our two favorite places.
Mm-hmm. I know.
Dang Colorado.
Speaking of the motorhome, if we still have the motorhome in the fall, we are going to Maine.
Okay. Twist my arm.
Yeah. Because I want to do that. What's that?
Acadia?
Acadia National Park. In the fall, though. I want to do it in the fall.
Well, we need to time it so that we can just follow the leaves back down like we did that one year. That was fantastic.
Awesome. Yeah. Because the leaves start turning as you go further south later in the year.
We were in Michigan and came all the way down.
We're in Michigan, then we came all the way down, and it was like all fall colors coming all the way down.
Yeah, it was just like fall forever for us that year. It was so nice.
Yep.
I'm surprised you don't have any indoor archery ranges near you.
We do. I was just looking at it a couple days ago. It's a pistol range that they convert. So basically what it is you could take your pistol and your archery stuff on the same day, and they will put you in a pistol lane, and then when you get done with that, they can convert it almost immediately to an archery range.
I didn't know that. Mm-hmm. They used to, I mean, they probably still do. They have like...
The place over by Costco.
Leagues?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's yearly memberships, and there's... I mean,
like, I've been to one at the lake before.
Oh, yeah. I looked all into it the other day. I was, like, really looking into it the other day. Yep. Well...
I'm tired.
Me too. You guys, it's been super fun.
It was really fun.
Thank you for hanging out with us.
Oh, we did over an hour.
We did. All 70 of you. You guys have been awesome.
Oh, we grew.
And we grew at the end. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to try to get a video out tomorrow, but we're so busy that I'm not where I thought I was going to be today, so I might not get it out tomorrow. It might be Monday. So we will see you either then or then. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.